What up, what up, what up? How are y'all doing? I'm doing great as usual. Sunday afternoon, about noontime on the East Coast. Gave myself a little time to reflect on the fights last night. And so, yeah, I'm here to talk about it. What a night of boxing. We had DAZN putting on a magnificent card in Gibraltar. I don't know what it looked like to you guys on screen, but to me, it looked like paradise. Beautiful weather, water all the way around. They had that cool ass casino boat where DILIAN White and Alexander Povetkin was staying. Just looked like a cool, all around, great, great card. I mean, it was awesome. And the fights didn't disappoint either. The first fight of the night that I saw was Nick Webb against Eric Pfeiffer. I think that's his name. Yep. Eric Pfeiffer was 7-0 at the time. Nick Webb was 17-2, I believe. I saw Nick Webb. I believe Nick Webb lost to Dave Allen. When I saw that fight, I could be wrong, but it was one of them weird fights where Nick Webb lost, and I thought, wow, why does everybody think this guy's the greatest? Well, last night Nick Webb looked amazing. He came forward. He wasn't messing around. He was throwing that right hand. And it seemed like every time he threw that right hand, it hurt Pfeiffer. And eventually, he caught up to him and knocked him out in round two. He couldn't get up, couldn't recover. I think he knocked him down a couple times, actually. But, yeah, that was surprising. I'm assuming they were throwing Nick Webb in there to lose to an undefeated young fighter coming up in Eric Pfeiffer. But Nick Webb proved that experience paid off. He got the victory. So now Eric Pfeiffer is 7-1. We don't know where he goes after that. The next fight on the card was McKinnison versus Congo. Both of them were undefeated fighters. I think most people that I spoke to, most channels that I listened to, I think they were picking Congo because he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. And the fight was a good fight. I had it a lot closer than the judges did. The first round, McKinnison knocked down Congo with a left hook. It seemed to be a flash knockdown because Congo jumped straight back up. And McKinnison's a southpaw, very awkward. He was giving Congo a lot of problems. Not in terms of like beating on him. It was just it seemed like Congo was having trouble picking his spots, getting in there, what punches to throw. And then when he did get in there, he couldn't get back out in time without getting countered. I thought it was a good fight. There was close rounds in there. They could have gone either way. According to the judges, they gave it to Mickinson. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But he got the unanimous decision. I couldn't believe it. I think the closest scorecard was I can't remember now, but it was a unanimous decision for McKinnison, and it was a good fight. Either way, I forget what the scorecards are off the top of my head, but I believe I would have gave it to McKinnison by a round or two, and I think all three judges had it wider than that. but it was a great fight nonetheless. And then we had the debut of Ricky Hatton's son, Campbell Hatton. This kid had a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure for his debut on a pay-per-view card. And not on like the undercard that doesn't get shown. He's the third one on the bill. He's facing a tough vet who's never been stopped. A gentleman by the name of Ruiz. He was a tough, short, stocky guy. Like I said, never been stopped. I think he's one of them fighters that they use to welcome in young fighters to pro boxing, or throw them in there with fighters that are just starting out their career, a couple fights in. But this was Campbell Hatton's debut. There was a lot of pressure on him. A lot of the media was around him and his father, Ricky Hatton, of course, because Ricky Hatton is a fan favorite. People love him, and they want to know what his son can do in the professional ranks. Now, Campbell Hatton didn't start boxing at the age of 5 like most kids. I don't think he had a crazy, extensive amateur background. Apparently, the story is that he started boxing at the age of 12. Ricky Hatton never pushed him in the direction of boxing. Maybe that's why he started later. I'm assuming, since I don't have any kids, that when you are a kid and your father's a pro boxer, that you're always in and around the gym, you're hearing boxing talk at the dinner table, and eventually when you get old enough, you start getting curious. You want to try it. And maybe that's part of the reason why he started so late at 12, because Ricky Hatton has said it many times. He decided to be a pro boxer and get his face punched in so his son didn't have to. Well, at the age of 12, his son said he wanted to do it, and Ricky Hatton didn't stop him. The cool thing about this situation is, of course, we know that Ricky Hatton's brother, Tommy Hatton, maybe? I'm not sure, but Ricky Hatton's brother is the actual trainer of Campbell Hatton. And Ricky Hatton kind of stays in the advisory managerial role. So Ricky's not in the corner with his son. I think that's a good thing for Campbell. So we don't have his father, right over him during the fights. And Ricky Hatton kind of lets his brother take over that role. And we'll see how far it goes. But it was a unanimous decision. He fought, like I said, this Ruiz, very durable kid. And he's never been stopped. And there was numerous times in that fight I thought that if Campbell Hatton had a little bit more experience, he would have got him out of there. Because there was a couple left hooks to the body that you could clearly see that it visibly hurt Ruiz. And Ruiz backed up and covered up a couple times. Needless to say, it was a 4-rounder debut. Campbell Hatton wasn't happy with his performance, but come on, it's your debut, kid. You did a good job. You could have stopped a guy that's never been stopped before. And the more experience he gets, I think the better he'll become. He doesn't quite fight like his father, all inside all the time. A little bit less head movement, fights a little bit at range, and he mixes it up. He will go on the inside. But he's going to be a little bit more of a boxer instead of a brawler like his father. So he's going to be one to watch for all the UK fans and all the real boxing fans here in the States. Right after the fight, I put out a tweet saying that it was a great performance, and he's going to be one that I follow because I'm a huge Ricky Hatton fan. And I hope his son follows in his dad's footsteps and goes far in the sport of boxing. So he won with a unanimous decision. Uh, in an okay performance. Okay performance for a 10 fighter, but a great performance for a debut, in my eyes. I mean, the guy's never been stopped, so if you don't stop him, nobody else has. So then we move on to probably my favorite fight of the night. Definitely my favorite fight of the night. And that was Cheeseman versus 21-0 Metcalfe. Now, this fight, well, first I gotta say, Ted Cheeseman, boy, are you one ugly son of a bitch. But when you're in that ring, it ain't nothing but beauty. It's pretty when you're in the ring. Outside the ring, you are one ugly son of a bitch. And I'm not one to speak, but holy hell. But, like I said, it's nothing but beauty every time this guy's fought. I've seen him fight probably 4 or 5 times now since DAZN has become more and more popular in the United States. Of course, I got the zone as soon as I heard about it. So I've seen him fight, 4 or 5 times, and this was one hell of a fight. People who follow my channel know at the end of some of my videos, I give you guys a bandwagon fight. That's what I decided to call it. I call it a bandwagon fight because if you're a casual fan and not really a fan of boxing, if you watch these bandwagon fights, you will jump on the boxing bandwagon and instantly become a fan. And this fight was one of those fights. So before the end of the video, I'm going to tell any and everybody who has not seen this fight, go and watch it. Ted Cheeseman versus McIntyre, right? No, Metcalfe. JJ Metcalfe. It was a slugfest. Ted Cheeseman hurt Metcalfe numerous times during the fight. I believe it was the 4th round. I don't know how the hell JJ Metcalfe got out of that round, but he did. He never stopped fighting. It was blood. There was cuts, swelling. It was an all-in-out war. After the fight, Eddie Hearn said you could have put that fight in black and white, and it could have been a fight from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. It was that type of slugfest. Eventually, the punishment, the damage, caught up to JJ Metcalfe, and Cheeseman knocked him out in the 11th round, right as the bell sounded. It was almost like a game-winning shot right at the buzzer. 11th round, left hook, knocked him out. And I think it was instantly waved off. But that was the fight of the night, and I'm going to tell you that's the bandwagon fight of this video. It's been a couple videos I've been forgetting to do bandwagon fights, and this just reminded me. I have a list on the back of my notebook of bandwagon fights, but I don't need to even flip over this notebook to look for one. This is a bandwagon fight. Ted Cheeseman versus JJ Metcalfe. If you haven't seen the fight, go back and watch it. It was hellacious. It was outstanding. And definitely my fight of the night. After that fight, we had Wardley and Molina. Last time we seen Molina was in Saudi Arabia on AJ Ruiz 2 when he fought Filip Perkovic. Now, in that fight, Molina looked pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. He didn't pretty much land anything. The first time he got hit, he fell. If my memory is right. And after that fight, I said I don't want to see Molina again. He needs to hang it up. Well, What do you know? Molina shows up on this card to fight Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley is a fighter who is managed or under DILIAN White. And Molina shocked me. He surprised me for a good couple rounds. In the fourth round, he hurt Wardley with a body shot. And Wardley recovered and got back in the fight. But Wardley, I don't know how tall Molina is, but Wardley seems undersized for a heavyweight. Maybe because I don't know. He just looked a lot thinner. Obviously, he was taller than Molina, so that's why I said I don't know how tall Molina is. But I don't know if Wardley even cares. But it looks like he's one of them fighters that could go down to the Bridget weight for the WBC. I don't know if he has any interest in that. Obviously, when these fighters are on the cusp of going to the Bridger weight and heavyweight, fighters know that the big money comes in the heavyweight division. So it's going to be tough to get fighters down there. But Fabio Wardley looks like one of them guys that might be able to get there. I have no clue. Wardley could be 230 for all I know, but he don't look that on the television. So after the fourth round, Wardley recovered and got back into the fight, but boom, back fifth round. Molina was landing that right hand all night long, and he landed one that didn't really wobble Wardley, but then he got him with another one that wobbled Wardley, and he backed up and went on the ropes, and Molina went in for the kill. I don't know. It was tough to see what happens when they're up close like that. Maybe a head clash, maybe a hit on top of the head, temple. But all of a sudden, you see Molina go down like a ton of bricks. The referee was over doing his count, and Molina didn't do anything until like 7, and he just rolled over on his side. The referee counted him out. The fight was over. I thought maybe he got hit on the temple, and that or behind the ear that throws your equilibrium off, and you're kind of seeing doubles and triples. That's what I thought happened. And then what do you know? After the fight, you hear Molina and his coach complaining that it was a hit behind the head. I didn't see that in the replay. Maybe I'll have to go back and take a look. I didn't see it. But either way, Wardley moves to 10-0 with knockout over Eric Molina. But like I said, I don't want to see Eric Molina after the Hrgovic fight. But he looked good for these 5 rounds that he was in there with Fabio Wardley. He really looked good. That right hand was working for him. But in the 5th round, he got hit behind the head or a legal shot. He was down, and they counted him out. Fight over. Fabio Wardley moves to 10-0. The main event, DILIAN White, back against the wall. He needs this victory. It's a rematch from when Eddie Hearn had fight camp at his house. DILIAN White in the first fight knocked down Alex Povetkin twice. Looked like he was cruising to a victory. And Alexander Povetkin knocked him out cold with a left uppercut. DILIAN White tried to reschedule this fight right away for 3 months later or a couple months later. COVID, the lockdowns, everything got in the way of the fight, the rematch. Well, finally we got the rematch last night, and DILIAN White looked excellent. He stayed behind the jab. He was a little bit more active. He learned from the first fight. He did not let Povetkin get anywhere near on the inside like he did in the first fight. In the first fight, DILIAN White would jab, jab, jab. and then throw up the high guard and let Povetkin come in and work. There was none of that this time. It was jab, 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 better footwork, and every time they were in close, Dillian Whyte moved out of there with his footwork, or he either pushed Alexander Povetkin back because he did not want any part of another uppercut, because that seems to be Dillian Whyte's kryptonite. That uppercut seems to bother Whyte immensely. So Dillian Whyte knocks him out in the 4th round. Dillian Whyte dropped him, and it looked like Alexander was getting up pretty quick, and I thought it was an early stoppage. But when I look back on the tape, even though Alexander was getting up and he got up like right away, now there's either two things. He got up right away because he didn't have the wherewithal to take his time. You'll see in boxing a lot of fighters, when they get knocked down, they don't know what's going on and they try to jump up and prideful. Well, sometimes that's the worst thing that can happen. And I think in this case, that's what happened. He jumped up. He beat the count because he jumped right up. But as the referee was counting, he was looking into his eyes, and right as he went to wave it off, you saw Alexander's corner throwing the white towel. So, knockout Dillian Whyte. He is back on track, and where does he go from here? Eddie Hearn stated that he wants to bring Dillian Whyte into America for his next fight, maybe in Dallas. Maybe, who'd they mention? Trevor Bryant, an American. I think he's got the regular WBA title. Of course, Anthony Joshua has the super, but I think that's the route they're looking. Some people want to see him versus Deontay Wilder. I'm fine with any of that. I'm really fine with anybody Dillian Whyte fights, because every time Dillian Whyte fights, and this is why he's a pay-per-view fighter, even with a couple losses, because every one of his fights, you are on the edge of your seat, and every time Dillian Whyte has control of a pay-per-view event, he makes sure there are good fights on the undercard, and never disappoints. I don't care who Dillian Whyte fights on pay-per-view. I will always make sure to get it. And if I can't get it, I will make sure I will go somewhere where they are playing it. So congratulations to Dillian Whyte. I'm glad to see him get that win back. I'm a big fan of his, like I said, because his fights never disappoint. Never disappoint. That's the end of the Matchroom card, the DAZN card, the Eddie Hearn card, however you want to look at it. But I want to just touch base on another fight that happened on BT Sport. I kind of feel guilty because I didn't watch any of those fights. Frank Warren had 2 fight cards, Friday and then Saturday, but there was a big upset, and I just wanted to let you guys know about it. Maybe if you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. Willie Hutchinson is supposed to be the next great thing coming out of the UK. He's a great fighter. He's trained by Dominic Ingle, and if you guys are familiar with boxing, then you know Dominic Ingle. You know the style of fighters he trains, and you know what you can expect from the Dominic Ingle gym and his fighters. Great boxers, slick style. Most of them are taught to switch from orthodox to southpaw, and they are very, very good boxers. And you saw glimpses of why everybody is so high on Willie Hutchinson, because he throws combinations so effortlessly. It's almost like he thinks about, though, he does it over and over in his sleep. because he'll throw 4 or 5 punch combos, and it's like it's easy. It's fluid. It's almost like he doesn't have to try to do it. Unfortunately, the matchmaker in this case, I think they matched him up totally wrong. He fought against a guy named Lennox Clark. Lennox Clark is a shorter, stockier fighter. He kind of reminds me of, he looks kind of like Willie Monroe, I think. Obviously, he doesn't fight like Willie Monroe. But Lennox Clark, he's short, stocky. He wants to get in on the inside. The one downfall that people say about Willie Hutchinson is that he keeps his chin in the air when he throws punches. Now, when you're facing a guy your height or even taller, you can get away with it. But when you're fighting a shorter opponent, for one, even if you keep your chin tucked where it's supposed to be, the shorter opponent still has better access to that chin. Now, if you're facing a smaller opponent and you're known to keep your chin in the air as you're throwing combinations, it's a recipe for disaster. And Lennox Clark kept bulldozing forward, finally got him in the ropes, hit him with a 3-piece, out cold. No, back that up. Wasn't out cold. He was seeing double vision. He got up, got to the 7 count, and finally the referee just waved it off. Lennox Clark with a big upset over Willie Hutchinson. But to all these young fighters out there, even to the veteran fighters out there who are trying to protect the O, they think that they can only make a big paycheck if they're undefeated. That is not the case in boxing anymore. If you're young and you take a loss, you can come back. Look at DILIAN White. He has 2 losses. He's still a pay-per-view fighter. It depends on how you lose, how you come back, and how exciting are your fights. So I'm sure Willie Hutchinson will be back and look as good as ever. He just got to tighten up on a few small things. And like I said, you could see the class of skill that he has. He was just matched up with a shorter, stockier opponent and Lennox Clark, who could really bang. So that was it for boxing. Just a quick note before I sign off out of here. Francis Ngannou and Stipe too. I know, guys, it's an MMA fight. I'm only bringing this up because after the first matchup between these two guys, Francis Ngannou lost, I believe. Not a huge MMA fan. But you'd see Francis Ngannou visiting Mike Tyson. You saw him doing a training session with Teddy Atlas. Obviously, those are both boxing people. And he was getting pointers from both of these people. And it showed. I didn't watch the fight. I saw the highlights. But you could see some boxing influence from Francis Ngannou. You know, the double jab, the changing of heights, what he got from Mike Tyson, getting getting to the side of the opponent, and then coming from the side. You saw all that. And Francis Ngannou won. He is now the heavyweight champion of the UFC. And I just wanted to touch base on that. I only mentioned it, guys, because of Teddy Atlas and Mike Tyson giving pointers. And it looks like it helped a little bit. So that's why I brought it up. If you guys hate MMA, don't hate me for bringing this up. Just a quick little mention of the fight. So that's all I got for you. It was a great night of boxing from DAZN. It was a great surrounding area to put on a fight in Gibraltar. It was just a good card all around. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. This is Moore's House. And make sure, like always, like, subscribe, and share. And I guess hit that little bell. It notifies you every time I come on. That'll be great. If you're a big fan and you want to make sure you don't miss anything that I say. Tonight I might be going live. It depends. I got a few things I got to do, but I might go live tonight. So look out for that, a pre-schedule on my channel. But other than that, I'll catch y'all soon. Peace.